What's going on, guys? So today I have a 7th generation 160 gigabyte iPod. This iPod has been upgraded previously to a 256 gigabyte SSD or SD card, some type of aftermarket device. The owner says that they believe that the hard drive is failing. So let's take a peek at this real quick. Let's get it off. Hold. Okay, so, iPod appears to be on. Let me throw on some headphones real quick. Music works. I have both ears playing out of the headphones. Pause play works. Next works. Previous works. Menu works. Scroll works. Center works. And then obviously from before, the hold button works. So I'm not sure really what the issue is. The owner said they believe that the drive is failing, so I'm going to message them real quick and see if I can get a little bit more information specifically on what is going on. So I will do that, and then I will resume this video whenever I hear from them. Okay, so I heard back from them, and what they told me was they try to load music on here, and what happens is it gets, I think it gets maybe 50 tracks into syncing, or maybe 100 or something like that, and he says the iPod throws errors. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna see if I can throw a little bit more music on this and see if we can get that to happen. So I will see you in just a second at the computer, and we will see what happens. All right, here we are at the computer. I plugged the iPod into the computer. It's showing up in iTunes. So you know what? Let's, just for grins and giggles, let's restore this iPod real quick. Okay, iPod has been restored. Let's throw some music on this thing real quick. And I'm just going to grab, I don't even know, a couple hundred maybe, 300-400. Let's go down at least maybe get through like A through D. That's fine. Okay, we'll just grab 570. That looks decent. I mean, he said maybe about 100 or so would trigger the issue that he was getting. Okay, so I will be right back with you, and we'll see if this syncs. Okay, so I put over 500 tracks on there, and they all went without issue. So you know what? Let's put on a bunch more. Let's put on like another 1,000 or somewhere in there, and we'll see what happens. We'll go all the way to G. Oh, that's 2,000. Whatever. So one thing I did notice after, or not after, but the closer to the end of the syncing process of the last set of tracks that I synced, it did get a little bit slower towards the end. So maybe we're working on some type of an issue. That's fine. Okay, so we're going decent fast again. So those errors, those are tracks in here from my Apple Music subscription. With an iPod Classic, you can't put songs on here from your Apple Music subscription. It actually has to be a physical copy that you own, that you've purchased, or that you've ripped yourself and put into iTunes. It cannot be anything from a subscription. So we will let this go, and then I'll be back with you once it's done. Okay, songs finished syncing. I have 2,200 songs on this thing. So I'm not sure exactly what was going on with the owner saying that after 100 songs or less, he gets some type of an error saying that the hard drive is shot or what. It could be a problem with his computer, his install of iTunes, could be a bad cable. Yeah, I really don't know at this point. I am going to disconnect the iPod from iTunes, and I think I'm going to go back to my other camera and test and make sure everything works, make sure we don't get any errors on the iPod when attempting to play the music. And then I think I'm going to just message them back and let them know my findings. And I think I might open the iPod up and just see what type of drive they use. I don't know if they're using an mSATA or if they're using an SD card or what exactly they're using. So yeah, I'll see you at the other camera. Okay, I just checked out the iPod, and I cycled through maybe a dozen or so songs. So, the drive seems like it's working. I just messaged the user and let him know that I synced 2,200 songs to this thing, and everything appears to be okay. The only thing that I can think of is either maybe they have a bad USB cable, bad USB port, a corrupt install of iTunes. I'm not really sure at this point. Another thought that I had was what I said previously on the other camera, or the microphone, was that I was saying about how you can't sync songs from an iTunes subscription, an Apple subscription, that it actually has to be a physical copy of it ripped or purchased from iTunes. But then again, after thinking about that, he is saying that he is getting some type of physical error, one that I can't replicate here. So I think just for grins and giggles, let's open this iPod up and let's just make sure that this thing the drive is seated and is actually secure and how it should be. So let's see what's going on. Get our tool in here. Okay, as I've said 100 million times, don't open it like a book. You could rip the battery connector off the motherboard, you're going to have a bad day. Take a spudger, hold the battery connector down, get some tweezers, pull the battery cable out like so. And it is an SD card. And everything looks like it's in well. So the one issue that I see here all the time, and actually this is one way that I replicate this issue, but this SD card just slides in here like so. So if this thing takes a drop, head first, it will actually pop this SD card out. I've seen this countless frickin' times. So actually what I do, I go one step a little bit further than this. I actually tape the card in here, and then I put these little pads in front of it as little added extra insurance that it's not going to pop out. But I mean, this thing, it's in, and don't worry about the flex there. It's definitely in. Obviously, if it wasn't in, then we wouldn't be able to sync music or anything like that. So from what I see on the inside, I mean, it looks good. Whoever installed this did a fine job. So I personally really do think that it has to be some type of issue on the owner's end. So let me release this clip real quick. Let's put the battery back in. Like so. Press down on the clip. Good. And then let's force these edges in just a little bit. Okay. Okay, obviously we're working, because if we weren't, then we wouldn't have anything in here. We would get an error. So I'm going to plug this thing in. I'm going to test one more time and just see what we have. Just going to shuffle songs again. So scroll wheel works, play pause works, next works, previous works. Let me get just out here a little bit and let's just see, make sure that it's going to actually work. Past, the guy said 100 tracks. Let me just shuffle songs past 100 tracks real quick, and we'll just see if we get what we want here. Okay, we're past 100. Demon Hunter's working. Deadlock's working. Play pause works. Menu works. Hold switch works. Yeah, I feel bad. I really have nothing on the other side of the equal sign for this owner. But I mean, I don't know what else it would be. I mean, unless it's just a fluke or what. But yeah, I mean, it appears to be some type of issue on their end. I'm gonna suggest to them that maybe they should try a fresh install of iTunes, and not only a fresh install of iTunes, but a complete rebuild of everything. Get rid of the .itl file, get rid of the .xml file. All because if you do that, if you reinstall iTunes and you don't get rid of those files, you're just bringing back your old library files, and those files is usually where a problem may lie, but not the problem that he's seeing though. See, that's the odd thing. It's pointing to like physical, because he says he's getting that error. Let me just pull up real quick his message and see exactly what he said. Okay, he says, when I sync it, it eventually stops and flips over to connected status versus syncing. The last time I got an error, it said no hard drive. It used to be almost completely full, but all the music disappeared. If you happen to have a large iTunes library, you can try syncing it. You should error out pretty quickly, maybe after 100 songs or so. Okay, so I mean, he's saying it flips over from connected instead of syncing. So that right there tells me, I mean, either he has a software issue and he needs to rebuild his iTunes library by deleting all of his music, not deleting it off his computer, but deleting all the music off of iTunes, and then deleting the XML and ITL files, and then resyncing that music, creating a brand new library, set of library files. Or it could be a bad cable, it could be a bad port on his computer. I don't know, but yeah, the iPod itself seems absolutely fine. So yeah, I think I'm just, unless he has anything else of interest to say that might help us narrow down what the problem is, I think I'm just going to send it back to him. I don't really know what else to do with it at this point. So not really much of a restore or a fix or anything like that, but I'm still going to put this video out there because I think the troubleshooting steps are important, and I think, you know, people might be able to learn something from this. So yeah, I think that's about it. I will talk to you guys next time. And if there's more, then obviously I added it on during the editing process. But if this is it, then I'll catch you next time. Everybody have a good night.